Hi, I haven't done a dramatic reading in a while, so this is Alex Johnson once again reading a dramatic rendition of a story. This is from the anthology Trumpocalypse, which was published April 30th by Horrified Press, and I had the honor of editing this collection of marvelous stories. And also I contributed a story, which is titled Razor Baby versus ICE. And this is dedicated to Chris Ropes. Odia a los mojados, odia a mexicanos si Trump ganaba a deportar a todos, odia a mi raza, ama su dinero. Este güero loco va a empezar la guerra. And that's from a song by the band Brujeria called Viva Presidente Trump. A year into his administration, President Trump was desperate, his nearly impenetrable ego notwithstanding. He'd watched with aggravated awe the slow death of his pet project, the wall. It was to be his legacy. History would remember him as the man who kept the rabble out, who protected the people of the United States from the bad hombres. And, make no mistake, they were bad. There was just one problem. He couldn't find the funds. Forget a massive bad hombre barrier stretching from Tijuana to Laredo. His advisors told him that the money just wasn't there. And Peña Nieto continued to refuse his very reasonable demand that Mexico pay the cost of construction. So he turned to a tactic which had always served him well. His many supporters agreed, and there were a lot of them, more supporters than for any president since there were presidents. After all, the United States was at war with terror, and you did what you had to do to rouse the masses out of their sleep. Maybe he decided he didn't have to actually build the wall, just create the impression that one existed and that it was effective. With that thought, he hired the best people he could find to simulate the wall's creation. Then, triumphantly, he released an image to the press that would quash any doubts. A Mexican with a huge sombrero crashed out against the big, huge, solid expanse of concrete topped with razor wire. The concrete slab was in reality 5 feet square and stood on a patch of scrub brush and thistles in tragic isolation. After the photo was taken, the slab was targeted for graffiti and copious streams of urine. When they couldn't find any actual Mexicans to pose for the picture, something dumb about racist stereotypes, he hired an actor, actually an Arab, who was sent packing back to the desert and his camels once the job was done. But the press, in typical libtard fashion, exposed the fraud. A series of fake news reports ridiculed the obviously staged photo, besides finding no proof of the wall's reality outside of a cracked slab reeking of pee and scrawled with the words El puto presidente. So Trump did the next best thing. He ramped up the detainment of all those undocumented aliens whose votes for Hillary had denied him his legitimate popular win. Razor Baby shrugged when Immigration and Naturalization Services plucked him from his bed. Tales out of school being what they were, a tip to La Migra threw him out of his questionable comfort zone. They suspected him of alien status, one of the millions of undocumented workers that swarmed the border daily, hourly, crouching behind cacti, while the searchlights blazed from helicopters, great metal bugs barking orders. Then, when the ICE moved on, running for it, jumping over it, risking life and limb to wreak havoc on the American way of life. The fact that he was a barrio superhero, a thorn in the side to the Trump administration, and the author of real gruesome crimes, played no part in his apprehension. They neither knew nor cared that his fictional counterpart had become a character in a best-selling series of graphic novels. To them, he was just another Mexican, a potential rapist, murderer, dealer in dangerous drugs. That's going to be part 1.